I'm happy to start our book relay by presenting the Czech translation of Mary Hyman's book on Czechoslovakia. Mary is my colleague at Cardiff and is professor of modern history. I would like to begin with the observation that rarely a book on national history written by a foreign author published in a foreign language in a different country caused so wide a resonance as was the case with Mary Hyman's book, Czechoslovakia, The State That Failed, first published in English in 2009 by Yale University Press. At that time, reactions in the Czech media ranged from accusation that it was an attack on the Czech identity to the statement that the author had turned 20th century Czech history on its head. These responses alone make clear that Mary's book is written against the grain of the dominant narrative. And today we are celebrating the Czech edition of this book that appeared in Petrkov Publishing House under the title Československo, stát, který zklamal. And in my hands, I hold this fresh minted, only 2 months old edition of the book. Mary's book offers a survey of Czechoslovak political history, beginning from the emergence, or to use Mary's word, invention of the sovereign Czechoslovak state in 1918, to its split in 1993 into the two independent countries, the Czech Republic and Slovakia. Simultaneously, this is the history of Central Europe in the age of extremes from the end of the First World War to the end of the Cold War. In her versions of these histories, Mary challenges the victimization myth of Czechoslovakia as a country that was twice betrayed. First in 1938 in Munich by its Western allies, and again in 1968 by its Eastern neighbors. She confronts the view of Czechoslovakia as a small but proud, peaceful and progressive country, deeply rooted in liberal and democratic values, with Nazism and communism being just external misfortunes that befell the state. Instead, nationalism appears as a central theme in this book, key aspect of Czechoslovak history, and eventually the reason for the failure of the state, as the title suggests. Czechoslovakia failed, first of all, in building inclusively multinational state in the heart of Central Europe, as it was initially declared by its political leaders. The fate of ethnic minorities and the minority politics of Czechoslovak governments is another big theme in this book. Mary Hyman argues that Czech and Slovak chauvinism was among the principal causes of the instability in the First Republic that led to the Munich crisis in 1938, and also made the persecution of Jews and Gypsies possible in the short-lived Second Republic. Central and autonomous governments of the Second Republic promoted racism, set up forced labor camps, persecuted minorities, and all before the final destruction of the state by Nazi Germany in March 1939. In this analysis of Czechoslovak history, the long-term perspective covering 75 years proves to be particularly beneficial in looking at the function of nationalism in relation to other political ideologies of the 20th century. We can see here how persistent, but in the same time adaptive, Czechoslovak nationalism was. It not only facilitated the transformation of the country from democracy to the authoritarianism of the Second Republic, but also was able to move smoothly from democracy through fascism to socialism, communism, and then back to democracy. And my concluding remark is about the importance of the context. I mean, not only the historical context of the issues analyzed in this book, but also the social and political context in which the book is read. Since the publication of the original edition, English edition in 2009, the context changed dramatically in the Czech Republic, in Europe, and in the world. We are now observing a resurgence of nationalism, the xenophobia, the return of national identity politics. Multiculturalism has been declared as a threat to the Czech culture. It will be interesting to follow the reception of the book by the Czech readers in this changed context. And I hope that one of the key messages of Mary's book, that undigested past, history that has not been worked through, repeats itself, that this message will encourage discussion rather than perceived as an attack on national identity. I would like to conclude my presentation by this, and maybe also got one question to Mary. Mary's book is on political history, but it made me interested in the cultural aspect of Czechoslovakia as well. Mary was very effective in proving that Czechoslovakia failed in building multinational state. However, I was wondering whether the Czechoslovak governments succeeded in creating Czechoslovak identity comparable to, for example, Soviet identity. Mary?
Yeah. So Tatiana, first of all, thank you so much for that really lovely introduction and very, I think, fair summary of the book. In terms of Czechoslovakianism, I suppose the short answer would be that I think Czechoslovakianism itself proved untenable, never quite took hold. But what did succeed extremely well was Czech nationalism and Slovak nationalism as separate entities, and which of course are flourishing to the present. And I would also just add that there's a very attractive and amiable side to this, which I enjoy and appreciate myself when I'm there. And one of the struggles I have in my own mind is the contradiction between the coziness and loveliness of being inside the community, contrasting with the intolerance that can be shown to outsiders. And I find that quite, I hope that it's possible to have one without the other.